Hi, this is Anna Van Hoeft, and you're listening to Mark Who 42.
Welcome to Mark Who 42's universe. I'm your host, Mark Baumgarten, and with me today are
Eduardo M. Freyre.
Hey Ed, how's it going?
It's going pretty well.
You enjoying your weather up in Reno?
As long as in the mornings I have a winter coat, yeah.
Yeah, for some reason I talk about the weather on this show a lot. Every episode I seem to ask about the weather. Let's try to stop that. Okay. But no, that's good that you're good. We also have
Vikki Jakubowski.
Hey Vicky.
Hey.
What's been going on?
Oh, just been working really too many hours, too much insanity, and I need a nap.
Yep, I hear that.
I'm not going to ask you about the weather. I'm not going to ask you. I'm interested.
We live in the same. Vicky and I live in the same city, so
okay.
Yeah, we'll just say that it's 20s in the morning.
Oh my goodness!
And then the sun comes out, and if you're in the sunshine, you will sweat and have to strip off half the layers. And if you walk into the shade, you got to put them all back on.
Okay,
that sounds incredible.
And finally, we have
Quiros.
Now, Zion and I have been having some nice weather too. Talking about weather, I can't stop. This is the science fiction radio show, and we talk about the weather. Zion, how was your on Sunday morning? How was it?
Amazing, spectacular.
Wind chill 25 to 30. Yeah, it was lovely. And it's going to get up. Well, anyway,
it's like 45 right now.
Yeah.
I love it. I've been outside all day today. I've been waiting for this.
Are you actually outside right now?
No.
Oh, okay.
See, I would like to go outside and not do this show so I could be and take a walk in the brisk water. But I'm here for the fans of our show and the lovers of science fiction.
Oh, okay. So you're blaming them. You're blaming them. Okay, blame the fans. Blame the fans. Okay, I see how it is.
Tisk everybody.
All right, I see how it is. Don't worry, fans. I don't blame you. Okay, you're blameless. You're good fans. You're good fans, and I love you. Let's all do a giant hug while you listen. Let's do a big hug. There we go. See, doesn't that feel better now?
Okay.
See, there you go. I still love you.
Before we start with our show, I'd like to do a little plug for the 77. There is a Kickstarter campaign by our good friends at the 77. We had them on our show about 2 months ago. They're the best independent anthology comic out there. They're in the vein of 2000 AD. Go to Kickstarter and search for the 77, and then pick the issue 7 link and back it you can get great rewards like a digital or hard copy of the comic, t-shirts, artwork, and more, even a beanie. Wow. The Kickstarter campaign ends on Sunday, February 27th, 2022 at 5 p.m. Eastern, so please go there and support. They're actually, as we're talking right now, they're so close to the top tier. They've almost got all their money, but keep supporting, because then they add stretch rewards and you can get more stuff, and you'll be helping fund an independent comic that they have over in Britain, but you can get it shipped anywhere in the world. It's great stuff. I've got the first 6 issues, the annual and all that stuff. So please go to the 77, look for issue 77 in Kickstarter. Okay, that was my plug for them.
Are they giving you free stuff because of it?
Actually, yes.
Oh, okay. Oh. Ulterior motives.
Nice honesty.
Ulterior
Vicky,
motives.
You got a care package.
Shush! I wasn't going to be honest. I was going to lie.
Well, I did the honest route, and I have backed the 77. I backed Blazer when they did their Kickstarter.
Yeah.
In fact, actually, I think think I got sent. I think Blazer sent something out for like to confirm address or something.
Okay,
I know,
cool.
Mhm.
I know I got an email from them like
Blazer
a while.
2 was excellent. I've been reading them all. All right.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's go to Mark Who 42's universe. Let's focus on our topic. Today's topic is the 2021 Marvel Cinematic University Roundup. We have not discussed. We discussed everything in Marvel except we haven't covered Spider-Man, the Eternals, and Hawkeye. So we're going to start with the movies, Spider-Man and Eternals, and we're going to let Ed, who's our Marvel expert, run the show. Ed, take over.
Damn straight on the Marvel expert. But yeah,
Marvel
we haven't.
handbook guy.
Yeah, literally, because I wrote for the handbook.
Right.
If you don't believe me, I'll
I've
put up
seen
the
it.
list. Yeah,
I
there you
believe
there
you.
you go.
I
There you go.
believe. I
Thank you.
believe.
I believe you can fly.
Wrong franchise.
I believe you can reach the sky.
Wrong franchise.
Oh,
Okay, you're the one who in show prep said you really didn't have that much to contribute.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah,
So
I'm sorry.
shush.
I'm
Shush.
shushing.
Go to the corner.
Thank
Go to the
you.
corner. Go to the corner.
he's in the corner. I swear.
In the corner. But yeah, I think we didn't. Yeah, we didn't. Shut up. Shut up. All right, you know what? Let's get this out of the way. Mark, what did you think of Eternals?
Okay. The
You really
Eternals.
had to start with
I'm
that
going to be
one.
honest. I'm going to be honest. It was so slow moving, so boring that, and to me at least, that I just didn't like it. I think the only part I really liked was when the kid points at Henry Cavill and goes, "Oh, it's Superman."
You know that wasn't
That was
Henry
funny.
Cavill, right?
No.
That was not Henry Cavill.
Wasn't it? Icarus wasn't Henry Cavill?
No. That
Who
was
was it?
Richard. That was Richard Madden,
Oh, was
aka
it?
Rob
See,
Stark
then,
from
guess
Game
what?
of
Guess
Thrones.
what? Guess what?
Give me your
Can I
geek
get-
card.
Hold on.
Give me your
No,
geek
no,
card.
hold
No,
on,
give me your
hold on.
geek card. Give me
Hold
your
on.
geek card.
Can I say something? Can I say something? If that's the case, I didn't like the movie at all. I didn't like it at all.
Oh,
If that wasn't
oh,
Henry Cavill, I didn't like the
oh.
movie at all. I'm sorry.
Oh,
You
okay,
just
that's it.
blew
Then go sit in the damn corner. Go sit in the damn corner and let the and let the rest of us
Well,
talk.
you can talk later when we get to something else.
Thank you.
We'll see. Let's see how you behave. God.
Who is that actor then?
Richard Madden was Rob Stark on Game of Thrones.
I watched like the first 5 episodes of Game of Thrones.
And that's where your problem lies.
Oh,
Yes!
nice one.
Oh, good one, Zion. Oh, lordy. now that we've spent that much on the show on this,
Shall we move?
but yeah, let's move on. I will say this. I liked Eternals, but I do think it was a little long. Basically, my thought on it is Avengers Endgame was 3 hours long, but it didn't feel like 3 hours long.
Right.
Eternals was, I don't think, as much as Avengers Endgame, but it felt as long as Avengers Endgame, if not longer. Like that's, but I still enjoyed it. There were a couple of things that I was like, okay, it's interesting that they went there. Mainly it was because of the fact that the deviants, the origins of the deviants and the Eternals got like altered.
Jesus.
The thing
that's being nice about it.
Well, I'm a nice guy. That's the thing. For me, I think the thing is, I kind of like the the origins in the comics, where the Celestials basically took pre-humanity and started playing science class, and you had the Eternals who were
Yeah, because
supposed
it
to be.
kind of makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah, the Eternals were like perfection, and the Deviants, it's basically genetics gone mad. The example I keep using is like, okay, Vicky, let's say that let's say you have feathers. Okay.
Okay.
Let's say your husband has dragon scales.
Oh no.
You two have a kid, and
It's gonna be one ugly kid.
Well, here's the thing, because science and logic says that, he'll have the feathers and the scales, but instead the kid has like porcupine
Gills
skin.
or something.
Yeah, or
Yes,
porcupine
3
skin.
heads.
Basically, it's like basically it. Genetics takes genetics just basically says I'm gonna do whatever the bleep I want.
No deviant is the same.
Right,
But-
exactly,
Right.
exactly.
But the thing that struck me in this movie is that almost every deviant looks the same.
Yeah, it was kind of
Yeah.
like they just went for generic monsters, which is a shame because I mean some of the best stuff comes out of the fact that the deviants are just these wild. I mean, I don't know, maybe it was maybe it was just that they don't have they didn't
They're not
have
humanoid?
well, I think maybe it was just they want to keep the budget under under a certain amount. So it's like if you have just these creatures that are just all over the place, I don't know, maybe they just didn't want the special effects people to pass out from stress. So I'm willing to say that maybe part of it was just let's try to keep it let's try not to keep it too gonzo, which is a shame.
I have a confession to make. I haven't read an Eternals comic book. I think I read some in the late 70s, early 80s. So I was fairly familiar, but kind of like a passing knowledge as opposed to what should have been a much better knowledge, which is probably why I didn't dislike it as much as I thought I would. But there's a few things I would have changed too. And it was a little too, the only word that I can think of is contrived. I overall like the movie. I like the characters, but I could predict what was going to happen. And it wasn't because I read the comics, because I read a series of Eternals comics 5,000 years ago. So it just struck me as it was too predictable. I didn't have any, oh my God, I'm surprised moments. Especially in the Who's the Real Turncoat.
Yeah. I will say this. I did have a surprise moment.
Yeah.
But it wasn't until the end credit scenes. It was the end credit scenes where I was like, whoa, hey, I did not see that coming. especially because, and I know we're kind of getting ahead, but given the way that this episode is, we're gonna jump a bit.
We're all over the place a little bit.
Yeah, we're all over the place. Just like how deviant DNA is supposed to be.
Yes.
See, I brought it back. I brought it back. See, I'm that cool.
Okay,
anyway,
what's your surprise moment?
Well, for me, first of all, I wasn't expecting Star Fox and Pip the Troll.
Yes.
Which I thought, I was like, oh, nice. They brought those guys in. I'll be curious to see how this story picks up, because I mean, you don't introduce two new characters without thinking something. I mean, I'm hoping maybe they show up in Guardians 3 or Thor: Love and Thunder. Like, I'm hoping that there's going to be more to them pretty soon. The other thing is, the other end credits scene with Dane Whitman, picking up the ebony blade.
Yes.
And then the voice that says, I don't know if you want to do that. Here's the thing. Do you know who that voice is?
I've heard a lot of debate on it.
No, there is a confirmation of who it is.
Oh, there is a confirmation.
Yes.
So is it Blade or is it?
It's Blade.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
It is definitely, it was confirmed that it's Blade. Like, I heard the voice and I'm like, that sounds familiar. And, and like, I'm looking at, we're like, is that the Watcher? No, it's not the Watcher, but it sounds familiar. So I immediately went to the cast list. I saw Marshala Ali, Blade.
Oh, and
I'm like, which kind of makes sense if you're going to deal with a cursed sword, that Blade might be involved. So again, I'm like, okay, I can't wait to see how this picks up.
Yeah.
And speaking of voices, voice actor David Kaye, known to everyone as the voice of Beast Wars Megatron. Yes. He voiced Arachnid. And first, I will say this. I do love the way that they portrayed the Celestials. I love that they kept the vastness, that these guys are huge.
Right.
These guys are like, it's one of those things where you look at them and your brain just pops because you can't figure out, you're trying to
right.
grasp of what
whether
you're
it's the
looking like.
page or the screen, you know that this is a huge being, and there's
Right.
no question about it, and it's
Yep.
not a well, maybe he is, maybe he isn't.
Yeah, no.
No.
The only thing is, I mean, as much as I love David K. I love I love his Megatron. The only problem I had is I kind of like it, and this is something, in the comics they've been doing this recently as well. I kind of like it when we don't hear the Celestials speak.
Yes.
I kind of like it when the Celestials are just these huge things. Like, okay, does anybody remember the Marvel trading cards from like the 90s?
No.
Just born.
Yes, I do.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So Mark remembers. Because in the 90s you had a company that brought out.
I was busy with a kid, so.
Yeah. But Marvel brought out trading cards.
Well, that makes sense.
And the thing is, and it's like they had, they would have all, and one of the things is they did cover like cosmic beings. And then in the back of the cards, what would happen is they'd have like information, they'd have like biographical information, and they'd have a quote from like the particular character or characters. For the Celestials, they simply said, the Celestials do not speak when lesser beings are present.
Oh, nice!
And I like that. So I like the idea that I mean, again, I love David K. But I also love the idea that you don't hear the Celestials, that if they're saying anything, you don't hear it. So I wonder like how things would have gone if we didn't have the Celestials speak and instead we had the reactions of like Ajax and Cersei. Like what would happen if it was
because the reactions can tell us everything we need to know.
Right, exactly. And and it's like, and that's the thing. It also, the audience could use their imagination. So, it's
right.
But hey, it's a minor quibble. And at the very least, they had like a real voice actor do it. It's not like, oh, we're going to put in celebrity,
Oh, yeah.
Celebrity X.
Somebody who's not necessarily a voiceover actor
doesn't
necessarily have that.
Exactly.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yep.
Yeah, like
the other
I feel like just overall, like this movie was good and such, but it just didn't have the grandiose feeling of what I got from my overall Eternals reading. Like I came into this movie like expecting, okay, I am going to see like the Eternals, right? The whole shebang, everyone flying, Unimind, giant people, black holes, this and that, whatever goes on, right?
Yeah,
just throw things at the wall, attach cosmic to it, and it sticks, right? But this movie just felt like contained. Like it felt like a movie from like 2005 and 6. Like how like
right
we was trying to ground superhero movies back then.
Right.
It felt like that, minus the Celestials and whatnot. Like when the end scene when Erisham was talking to Cersei and he left and like he pretty much opened a black hole and left.
Yeah,
I was looking for that the entire movie.
Whoa,
like that.
Yeah.
The eye opening. Wow, this is not in any other comic or any other series type thing.
Yeah,
but it felt underwhelming compared to other series, and that's kind of like the inverse of what the Eternals came to me from the comic. But overall, like the movie was pretty decent as an MCU movie.
Yeah, I think it hurt that if you know anything about it,
yes,
you might be disappointed. And that after Endgame, I mean, let's be honest, after the power of Endgame, to have something, I don't mind the slowness of the movie, but it was a very tonal shift from the TV shows. I mean, even WandaVision had more action. So it just, you kind of get used to, this is what an MCU movie looks like. This is a sea change. It's kind of the same problem that Inhumans had. It just, if you're going to set something like this up, you got to think about it. And you got to realize that when you say MCU, people are going to think X. If you give them Y, there might be some issues. But I think the lower box office was more because when it was first released, there was still fewer people. I mean, people were willing to brave COVID to go to the movie theaters for Spider-Man, but they weren't for Eternals because it's not as well known and not as universally loved.
Yeah, that, you know what? I think you hit the nail right on the head with that one. One thing I will say in Eternals, well, one thing, I mean, you bring up the grandiose, and I do, and this is one of the things, because I was thinking, as we're getting to these two episodes, the fact that this movie ends with a giant freaking stone hand, popping out of the middle of the water into space, it's like, I really hope, of all the things that I've mentioned that I hope get picked back up, I hope that does.
Yeah,
I know.
I hope it's not something that just gets totally ignored. I mean, you don't have to have the hand appearing in every single project. Yeah, I mean, yeah, there you go. You don't have to have it appear in everything, but at the very least, somewhere, just be like, oh, it's like, well, our flight's going to be delayed because we got to fly over that stone island or whatever. Just a little aside, just to show that this is something big.
Exactly.
That's going to change everything.
Kind of like all the references to the big New York battle that you get in later TV shows, movies, whatnot, that sometimes it may just be a comment, but it just this is something that actually happened. It was huge. It had an immediate, long-lasting impact on the universe that we know. So, we're not going to pretend it didn't happen.
Yeah, but this problem goes all the way down to the characters in itself. At the essence of Eternals, they in comics, I get Time Lord vibes from them. These pompous people, we have lived for centuries. You guys know nothing because you are little children who blah blah this and that, right? Well, but while in here, they're normal people. I am old.
I am God.
I know more than you.
Yeah.
And such, and I speak to the actual higher being, and you just run your life type stuff. They're just normal people here. And it's not bad, but it's just, as Vicky said, if you knew anything about it, it kind of takes away. I went to a movie with friends, and they knew nothing, and they liked it. Well, I was here saying, but look at it. It's one of those movies.
Yeah.
And it's so sad because the MCU has been very good about having movies that can appeal to both fans of the comics and the history of Marvel, but newbies can also watch it and still enjoy it and follow the story along. And this one, I feel that it was only for people who had no clue what Eternals was. I mean, all those comic books that have sold over the last 4 or 5 decades weren't sold, and nobody knows who the Eternals are, so we can kind of have fun with this.
Yeah.
And that's all fine and good, but then you're going to upset the fans. And so try and throw us a bone. Throw us a bone.
I just have one question for Ed.
Okay.
Where's Zuros?
I heard they left him out purposely.
Yeah. Well, who knows? I mean, yeah, it's kind of weird not seeing Zuros, but who knows? Maybe he'll show up if they do a sequel, or he'll show up somewhere else. If they hopefully they pick up the story of the Eternals, and one of the things we get is, more Eternals, like Zuros, maybe even Pixie from Marvel The Lost Generation. Also, Corifus.
Also, didn't they confirm by association that Thanos is also an Eternal?
Yeah, there you go. So Mentor. Yeah. Mentor. Where's Mentor?
Mentor the Mentor. Yeah, there was a really hard name.
Well, he's like the leader of the Titanian.
I know.
Leader of the Eternals. Yeah, Titan. Yeah, he's called. His real name is Alars, but he calls himself Mentor. Okay. Hey.
All right, guys. We're going to have to take a break here, folks. We'll continue talking about the Eternals. We'll get into Spider-Man No Way Home in the first episode of our 2-episode special on the end of 2021 Marvel Cinematic University roundup here on Mark Who 42's Universe. Guys, I think we're going well, especially with me shutting up and not talking. I think that's going very well. You said be honest. I'm being honest here on Mark Who 42's Universe. We'll be right back.
Nice.
We'll be back with more of Mark Who 42's universe here on Odyssey Radio.
Hello, geeks and geekettes. I'm Steve Megatron, and if you're looking for a podcast that covers a vast array of geeky topics, then check out Altered Geek. Altered Geek covers superheroes, Star Trek, pop culture, comics, film, television, animation, gaming, tech, and more. So check out Altered Geek and get altered, get geeky with the Altered Geeks every Friday on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, SoundCloud, Blog Talk Radio, and the Geekcast Radio Network.
You are listening to Mark Who 42's universe on Odyssey Radio.
Welcome back to more of Mark Who 42's universe. I'm your host, Mark Baumgarten. With me today are Eduardo M. Freyre, Vicky Jakubowski, and Zion Quiros. And we are in the first I could say blah, blah, blah too, Ed. The first part of our end of the year roundup of Marvel Cinematic University projects. We already talked about Eternals in the first half of the show. What are we going to talk about now, Ed?
Well, yeah, now, I mean, honestly, we talked about Eternals. I would say let's get a little bit down to earth, so to speak. And we're going to switch gears because I think the next thing has, for better or for worse, it probably has a bigger impact on the future of the MCU. And that would be Spider-Man No Way Home.
Woohoo!
Sweet.
Yep. The end of the Spider-Man trilogy, hopefully not the end of Spider-Man in the MCU. Yeah, there are rumors that, Disney and Sony might be trying to break bread and, hold hands and sing Kumbaya and talk about, maybe doing more. I think like the pile of money, when they see the pile of money, it's like,
we really need to learn how to get along, children.
Yeah. Or,
we want to make moolah.
Yeah, or, pretty much looking at it and being like, one more movie. Shall we do one more movie? Let's do one more movie. But I will. Okay, I'm going to get the elephant out of the room here. Let's just get the elephant out of the room. I have to praise the filmmakers and the actors for the fact that they kept, like, even though everybody was expecting it, even though everybody was looking for it, the fact that they kept the appearances of Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield secret, or at least as secret as they could get until the movie came out. Kudos.
Yeah.
Kudos to the fact that they did not have any footage. They even doctored a scene that was shown in the trailers to take out Toby and Andrew, in order so that way everybody could be surprised. And I just have to say right off the bat, kudos.
Yeah.
Kudos to you. And this interestingly enough, more than WandaVision did for the MCU what Crisis did for the Arrowverse.
Yeah.
Where it opened things up and it said we can actually have these characters. Like, we can have these characters from other films show up.
Yes.
And that was just, to me, it was like, wow, okay, that is awesome.
It was
freaking awesome. That is freaking awesome. I will also say this. Okay, as far as Spider-Man stories go, I hated One More Day.
Absolutely.
Oh,
I hated it.
Yeah.
I hated it.
I was collecting Spider-Man back then. I was buying it all.
I hated
every
One
month,
More Day. Yeah, I hated One More Day. I hated the fact that, it's like something. Let's bring in something that has never been a part of Spider-Man comics, and let's use Spider-Man talking with the Marvel equivalent of Satan.
Yeah.
To erase his marriage so we can go back to a status quo where, poor put upon Peter Parker can't catch a date,
Hold
because
on. Isn't that what happens in this movie?
No.
at the end?
No.
Look.
Well,
no.
The problem
Not
is
quite.
this. The problem with
No.
One More Day is this. They won't let Aunt May die. Just let the old lady die.
Yeah.
I've been screaming
Well,
this
isn't that-
since I was like 5. Just let the old lady die.
Yeah, she
Because
didn't
Spider-Man
age- she
is
didn't
considered
age
to be
at all.
No,
relatable.
she was like
the
in
whole
her
point is to
80s
be
back in the
relatable.
60s. No,
You know,
Yeah,
actually, I take
exactly.
that back. She aged very well because she was very old in 1963, and in 1980
Exactly.
or 1990, she was the same age. So she aged very well.
Yeah. Well, that's the joys of the sliding time scale for you,
yeah.
where you're just able to be like, okay, we're gonna keep this lady as some brittle as hell 60-something-year-old lady.
Put her in the iron lung. She's in the iron lung for how many
Nice.
issues?
Oh, good grief. But it's like, but yeah, I mean, and here's the thing, Zion, it's funny you should bring that up. It's funny you should bring that up because yeah, they actually did, this is
Let the old lady die.
they let the old lady die, even though it's Marissa Tomei and she is by no means old.
No, she's not.
Right.
That wasn't
She's
fair.
by no means old, but the fact
I
that
know
they
she's
did,
my
they let
age.
her.
It kind of freaks me out.
Yeah. Okay. Well, here's okay, Vicky.
Yeah.
Okay, take a deep breath, because
Okay.
remember, she was killed by the Green Goblin. Okay.
That's true.
Oh, so you're saying Vicky's
So-
going to be killed by the Green Goblin? That's
No.
terrible, Ed. How'd you
Hey,
get
Go
if you
sit-
think it's
go
me,
sit
well,
back in the-
so
no,
that's okay.
Go sit back in the corner. Go sit back in the corner. I'm trying to make her feel better. I'm trying to make her feel better by letting her
My chance of
know.
meeting the Green Goblin is pretty damn slim.
Yeah, well, the fact that, yes, you two were the same age, but her death was not natural. It was a supervillain
Okay.
throwing a freaking
Yeah.
pumpkin bomb. So you're
Oh,
fine.
but-
You're fine.
but-
Unless
okay.
you run into villains throwing pumpkin bombs, you're fine, Vicky. You're fine. It's okay. You're fine. You're gonna be good. You're
Okay,
gonna
if
be
that
good.
happens, we got a whole nother problem.
Watch
on our
out
hands.
for
You gotta be good.
Linus and Charlie
Shut up!
Brown.
No. Shut up and go to the corner. Shut up. You
Okay,
lost
let's
it
talk
again.
about everything that was good about Spider-Man.
Which was pretty much the entire movie.
The
entire
movie.
runtime.
Yeah.
The entire runtime, yeah. The entire
Now
freaking
there's a
runtime.
movie that was it was over 2 hours. Didn't feel like it for a moment.
No.
Uh-huh.
I could have kept going for another hour, and I enjoyed that movie so much, and it's been a long time since I loved Endgame and Infinity War, but this I even loved more, and there was just so much that I felt like there was so much people could identify with. It's one of the reasons that Spider-Man has been so ridiculously popular, is that so many people can identify with him on some level or another, whether it's being that awkward teenager or being smart or being ignored or being vilified or whatever it is. He feels like an everyman to us.
Yeah.
And it brought everything we've loved. And I'm not a fan of the two Andrew Garfield Amazing Spider-Mans, but I loved him in this movie.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I
And I
might even
love
go further and say he was the best Spider-Man in the film. And I never thought I would ever say that.
wow. That's okay, that's high praise. Well, and I
So
love
Spidey 3 was the best character in the movie?
Well, there was so much that he did in this movie that he didn't do in his
Yeah.
two.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
All he needed was a good script. And he got the
Yes,
good
I
script.
agree.
Yep. Yeah.
He's a
And
good
here we
actor.
are.
He's
Yeah.
a very
Praising
good
the-
actor.
yeah.
I've loved him in
Now-
other things.
I
But,
like
yeah.
I also like that once we got into once we kind of got into the story, the story of what's
Yes.
of how these characters came in, what I do love is that there's a reason for them all being here,
Yeah.
that it's not simply just having
Oh, hey,
like
these guys look good.
it's like there's a reason, like all of them, some of them died fighting Spider-Man, and they all have like that chance.
Almost all of them.
Yeah, I mean, because Sandman didn't die. Last
That
we
is true.
Yeah, Sandman didn't die. Last we saw, he just kind of wafted away in the breeze, just kind of like, okay, I'm leaving now.
Same thing with Lizard.
Yep. Yeah, that they just kind of, but it was cool. Like, I liked the fact that, well, first of all, it was pointed out that the villains that we had, it was like one for each Spider-Man movie that came before. It was Green Goblin, Doc Ock, Sandman, Lizard, Electro. So one from each of the movies that we've had,
Well,
you know,
actually,
before
that's
the
2 from each of the movies. Oh, I see what you mean. One from
Yeah.
each of the movies.
Yeah.
yeah,
I was
exactly.
thinking the Spider-Man. Sorry.
Yeah, no, but it's fine. But I loved the fact that we got that. What I love is also that, you know, I also love, like, yeah, you're right. Andrew Garfield got a chance to work with some meat. I like the fact that they had him be the one to save MJ.
I know.
As
Wasn't
a
that
kind
amazing?
of, okay, you know, and that it's like, okay, you know, this happened, but this is your chance at redemption. Like, you get a take 2.
Yeah.
You get to do a take 2.
And the relief and
yeah,
happiness in his face.
exactly.
It was so
Yeah.
apparent. I mean, it was
Yeah.
hard not to, you know, woot when that happened, because you know why he feels the way he does.
Yep.
At least most people do.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. Oh, and then of course there's the other cameo that we had. Daredevil.
You talking about the end credit?
Daredevil.
Yes.
Daredevil. Or more specifically,
Matt Murdock.
Matt Murdock. Yeah,
Yeah.
Matt
Yes.
Murdock. That was another one
That was
that
a nice touch.
I think it was like, it was one of those things that it was it was one of those speculative things. And, you know, finally it was like, yeah, they actually, like, while it was speculated, there was no like concrete evidence that this was going to happen. So seeing it in the theaters, I cheered, and
yes.
I loved when he caught the brick, and it's like, how'd you do that?
Yes.
I'm just that good a lawyer. It's like,
I know. That was a
and
fabulous line.
Yeah, and I like the fact also that his cameo was just as Matt Murdock.
Yeah.
Because it was like, this is a Spider-Man movie. There's no reason. It's like, we can wait to have him suit up as Daredevil. You know, we don't need him to jump in and like, you know, I think honestly,
what's great about this is that now between this and Fisk and Hawkeye, we are now getting the Netflix MCU TV shows.
Yep. And not to mention
into this.
Not to mention the fact that we also have Jarvis, like the Jarvis in Avengers Endgame.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, we now have we have like the ABC shows and we have the ABC shows and we have the Netflix shows. So it's like the only thing we're missing is maybe like somebody from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. to kind of just, like, just make it, cement it.
Keep on wishing.
Yeah. Well,
I hear a lot that
Phil
they're
Coulson went from the MCU to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., so we have a connection that way.
Yeah,
just not the other way around.
And they did tie in Civil War with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. But I think Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. diverted from the Marvel Cinematic Universe in the last 4 seasons.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like while we did have Coulson go from movies to TV, we're still missing that. We're still missing the reverse. Like what we need is for maybe Daisy Johnson to show up. Or
how about Doctor Strange and Doctor Strange 2 with the multiverse?
Nice.
Ooh, yeah. That may open up a lot more. That may open up, stuff for like getting the Fox characters in, or or even the Ben Affleck Daredevil, or even further back, like maybe even the Reb Brown Captain America.
Roger Corman Fantastic Four.
I mean, that's there is it's unlimited, like what we have now, the ability to bring things in. I gotta say, if there was one Spider-Man related cameo that we did not get that I would have loved to have seen in some capacity, Nicholas Hammond.
The TV show from when I was a kid.
That would have been cool. It would have been nice.
I did hear a story that someone at Marvel said that they thought about doing it and just kind of having one of those throwaway characters, but they just felt they already had so much in there. They didn't want to then, it's like if you put one more pinch of salt, you've screwed the stew.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. You know
so
what?
I can understand why they actually held off on a couple things that they thought about doing, because it was like, oh, it's kind of
too much.
good,
Yeah.
right?
What were
here.
the other things? What were the other things?
Well, some of the other villains that they really debated who to bring in, who not to bring in. And then they teased about them at the very end of the movie when you can see them in the shadow.
Oh yeah,
some
like
of them
Rhino.
will be getting their own Rhino.
Rhino was there.
The Hunter and
Craven.
Craven, who's supposed to get his own movie anyway. But it's just interesting to kind of see how their mind works and the different ways that the scripts evolve, and how much of it would they have really done is always up for debate. But someone somewhere had the idea of including that last Spider-Man, live action Spider-Man, and they were like, oh, one Spider-Man too many.
Yeah, we still haven't talked about Toby.
Toby coming back. Yeah,
think about Toby.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I noticed that they didn't, I noticed that with Toby that they didn't do much as far as they didn't do that much as far as
they didn't de-age him at all.
Well, they didn't de-age him, and they didn't do as much as far as what's happening with him. Like we did have whatchamacallit, we had Andrew talking about how kind of dark he felt.
Right.
Following the death of Gwen. But nothing really about Toby, like nothing really about like,
well, we got a little bit like, he and MJ, they're making it work.
Yeah.
And he keeps things much more close to the vest, and he's far more Peter Parker and less Spider-Man until the very end. And the fact that when we see him for the first time through the portal, he is dressed as Peter Parker, not as Spider-Man, like Andrew Garfield appeared as Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So, he really was more of that character, more of that side, less of, he's kind of
almost,
I don't want to say
with it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because at this point, it's been, oh dear God, how many years? 20 years since he first put on the wetsuit. Good Lord Almighty.
Yeah.
2001, right?
Yeah.
2001, 2002, like about that.
Yeah, because it was like when my sister got married the first time. One of my sisters, we went to go see it right before the wedding. We saw it the day before the wedding. It was part of the rehearsal dinner, because that's how geeky my family is.
Nice. Love it.
I thought that was the hen party. Thought it would be at the hen party.
Nope, the guys came too. We all went to go see Spider-Man because that's what the Jakubowskis do.
Nice. I love it.
We've also been known to go see Star Wars because, well, hey, Star Wars is out. We should go. Okay.
Yeah. By the by, how adorable was Ned's grandma?
Oh my God, she was like the perfect Filipino grandma.
I love it. I just love how she's reacting to everything.
Yes.
This is
and then that last bit
the greatest
in English,
thing in the
I'm
universe.
like, oh, you sneaking little broad.
Yep. I honestly, and by the way, I just want to get everybody's opinion. So the first end credits scene was Eddie Brock in Mexico.
Yes.
And then getting whisked back to where he belongs, but leaving a little thing
and
behind.
You have to watch Carnage to see the first half of that clip.
And please don't watch Carnage. Just go on YouTube. You're watching this, please. Don't do it.
Ouch.
Do not waste the time. I wasted the time and money. Please don't do it.
Oh, okay. It's okay.
I thought it was funny as hell, Zion. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know
Carnage
that there's
turned into a tornado. I couldn't do it.
What?
Exactly.
Wait, what?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
A tornado.
I
All right.
feel that
all right.
Venom and the Venom movies are very much not canon in any way, shape, or form.
Oh no.
You have to watch them as if they're just using that name. and pretend it's not one of those movies. I've done that with other movies. It's like, okay, I can enjoy this.
I will say, I know that there are some people who are upset that Venom, you have that setup in Let There Be Carnage, and then Venom just shows up for a little end credits cameo, and that's it. That's all she wrote. To me, I'm just like, you know what? I'm okay with it, because if you look at how the story developed, again, what could Venom have done? How could he have fit into the story that was being told?
Right. It would actually have been a distraction.
Yeah, it would have been exactly. It would have been a distraction. Now, of course, it's interesting because they didn't have another end credit scene. Instead, we had a preview for Multiverse of Madness, which, again, I'm kind of like, you know what? I'm okay with it, and it looks cool. It looks cool.
So cool.
I can't. Yeah,
it looks so cool.
It's nice that, again, we get confirmation that it is going to be Doctor Strange and Scarlet Witch together. We got our first look at America Chavez, and I'm like, I'm here for it.
Yep.
I'm here for it. Let's do it. We got our first look at her. I'm curious to see if, since this is called Multiverse of Madness, what are we going to get?
We need to see the Watcher. I'm sorry. We need to see him.
Yeah. Are we going to see the Watcher?
Are we going to see the jewel, the Doctor Strange that's stuck in a jewel?
He is in there.
He is in there?
I saw.
We saw.
There's the evil one, but I saw that.
We saw what looks like that. Yeah. Is it Strange Supreme? That's the thing. Yeah. Is it Strange Supreme? Are they going to follow up on what Spider-Man, there's supposedly rumors that maybe some of the Fox X-Men will show up. And it's like, okay, are they going to do that? Are they actually going to pull that trigger and have the Fox X-Men? Are we getting that? Are we seriously getting that?
Is Jessica Alba included, please?
No.
Please.
No.
Please,
no.
I don't know.
No.
I don't know. But it would be interesting. It would be interesting to see.
No.
No, because it's kind of weird how they're almost dodging the Fantastic Four right now. I just want is that when this comes out
in the Fantastic Fours, that although the stories, the scripts, the editing all may have sucked, there were good acting choices in some of that. Jessica Alba's not one of them. Dear God in heaven, she couldn't act out of a paper bag.
Yeah, no.
Jessica, if you're watching the show, please don't pay attention to it and come on at any time you want.
Oh,
yeah. The second she can quote Henry V straight, I'd love to see that.
I guess I shouldn't be on the show then.
Oh, no. She's supposedly an actor.
Oh, an actor.
No.
Whenever this movie comes out,
I'm sorry.
I just
she's
hope it's
eye
made.
candy. That's the best she's got.
Yeah.
And I'm insulted that she tried to play a scientist when I don't think she even knows what the Pythagorean theorem is.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Okay. Hope we didn't just listen.
I'm sorry.
No, it's hey, you're okay. You're okay.
You're okay.
There are other actors that may not be spectacular, but I do. I may be biased. Yeah, she's in the category of people who they become actors because they were pretty, and guys like them. It's not because they could act. It's not because they could carry a scene.
Wow.
I mean, there's lots of gorgeous actors who can absolutely carry a movie, can absolutely act circles around people. But I don't like eye candy actors. I find it's an insult to the craft.
Right.
But okay, bias over.
Back to Spider-Man because we're running out of time.
Back to Spider-Man. Yeah,
sorry.
It's honestly Spider-Man. This was if we just get 3 Spider-Man movies, I'm good with what we got. This was good. And to be honest, I like the fact that Daredevil's cameo also got things out of the way as far as charges are dropped, so it's not, I liked how they brought J.K. Simmons back, and I like how they redid.
Oh
Jameson.
my God, that was so perfect for this day and age.
It. Yeah, I like it.
That's
it was
exactly
perfect.
what he would be like. He'd
Yep.
be like he who shall not be named. And so
Yeah.
I thought that was perfect, that in 2021, you're going to have someone who's basically starting off as a blog in his backyard or his basement and moves his way up and is a trash peddler, which, those have been around forever. And he did it so well. He always does it well. I mean, as long as he's alive, no one else should play Jameson, period. I mean, he's so perfect at it.
Oh, yeah.
He embodies that character so well, and he's such a nice guy in real life. And it's kind of funny.
And this version is almost completely different than his previous version. Like,
yes,
this one is much more serious and non-funny at all.
Yeah,
right. Which I think really fits, because there's so much when you look at this compared to like the Tobey Maguires or even the comic books. It screams, the century, and it's so different in that when you think about how people react in their lives, they face chat on their phones, they use social media, it's not watching a TV per se, although there are TVs up there. And I thought that was perfect, because it was very obviously a movie of today, and it was just another piece of this amazing puzzle that I do hope we get more. But boy, has it just connected all these, 5 million dots have been connected with this movie.
Oh, yeah.
That no matter what they do with the MCU going forward, they've kind of introduced, okay, this is coming, this is coming, this is coming. And it makes you even more excited.
Oh, yeah. No, definitely.
I'm just happy that, like, it's crazy that the end, that the exact ending of the movie is the best part. Because, like, I've been complaining about how Peter has been like Iron Lad, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now he's actually Peter Parker. He's poor.
He's the actual Spider-Man.
He has the Ditko suit. Where did he get the Ditko suit from? Like,
he made it himself
from the comic.
He made it himself.
That is the most comic accurate suit I think we've gone so far, because it's literally straight from comic.
Yep. Now, of course, hopefully we get more Spider-Man movies, and hopefully, I hope we get more movies. I hope we get one of the things I hope we get, like, please, let's get this. I would really love, one of the things I'd really love is if we get, if you do more Spider-Man movies, hopefully maybe try and pull in Nicholas Hammond. He doesn't have to be Spider-Man. The other thing I would love,
would be a cool little twist.
Yeah, and a cool thing I would love, a cool cameo, is Dan Gilvezan, who voiced Spider-Man for Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends and the 80s Spider-Man cartoon. Get him to do a cameo. Like, it doesn't even have to be. It doesn't even have to be, like, again, he doesn't even have to be Spider-Man per se. Have him as just a radio guy or something,
Yes.
Speaking of Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends, I've got to stop the show with Mark Who 42 and His Amazing Friends. So we have to go. When we come back next week, we're going to do more of our 2021 Marvel End of the Year Cinematic University special. This time we'll be talking about Hawkeye and maybe the future of the MCU in 2022. Until then, so long from all of us here at Mark Who 42's Universe. Thanks for listening to Mark Who 42's Universe with hosts Mark Baumgarten, Eduardo M. Freyre, Zion Quiros, and Vicky Jakubowski. This program was produced and directed by Mark Baumgarten. If you'd like to get in touch with us, please go to our Facebook page or email us at markwho42s.universe@gmail.com. You can listen to old shows at our website, markwho42.com, or even our YouTube page, markwho42. Mark Who 42's Universe, copyright 2022.